Hello everyone and welcome to Lithuania New. My name is Justina. If you are planning a trip to Lithuania, then you have come to the right place. In this video I'm going to tell you some tips and practical information regarding the country, transportation, culture, how to save some money and more. Of course, everything is relative to time, so all of this information is mostly for the year of 2022, but I think that things will not change too much in the later years to come. So first things first, how do you get into Lithuania? Well, the most common way of entry is by plane, of course. There are 3 airports that provide regular flights. The biggest one is in Vilnius, then there is one in Kaunas, and another one in Palanga, which is near Klaipėda, although not many routes are available from there. Vilnius and Kaunas airports also have a regular city bus connecting to the city center. Then, of course, Lithuania is also reachable by road, although the road connecting to Poland is not a big highway. Most of it is just 2-lane road, which is prone to accidents by reckless drivers. It happens quite often, and then the whole road gets blocked. The distance to Warsaw, the capital of Poland, is around 400 kilometers from Kaunas and from 450 to 500 kilometers from the capital Vilnius, depending on which route you take. In the north, however, there are plenty of roads connecting to Latvia and we don't get crowded too much. The capital of Latvia, Riga, is just around 300 kilometers from Vilnius, so it can be a good choice if you want to reach Lithuania from Riga. There are plenty of regular buses connecting to Warsaw and Riga, and at the moment it's the only mean of transportation after private cars. Same goes for the connections with Minsk and Kaliningrad, except that there are border checkpoints as well. But if you like train travel, then I'm afraid I don't have good news for you. There basically aren't any connections to the neighboring countries, but the issue is being addressed. A high-speed railway line is expected to be finished by 2026, connecting Warsaw with all the Baltic states. Furthermore, there has been a new agreement between Lithuania and Poland to open a connection between Vilnius and Warsaw in the middle of 2022. Well, we'll see how that goes. And lastly, Lithuania is also reachable by ferry through the Baltic Sea. The ferries connect to Sweden and Germany. Another thing that might be good to consider when coming to Lithuania is when is the best time to visit it. Mostly I would recommend to come during the summer and maybe late spring and early autumn. If you'll be going to the seaside, you need to keep in mind that accommodation there needs to be booked way in advance, as most Lithuanians go there in the summer. On the other hand, winter is cold and dark here, so unless you are coming here for the Christmas and the New Year's, then it's better to wait until warmer weather to fully enjoy the country. When I make my municipality videos, I also travel only in the warmer months, as many more things to do are available and the countryside is more pretty. Also, it's good to take into consideration public holidays and events. Here's the list of Lithuanian public holidays, which also are non-working days. Besides this, there also are some of the most popular events and festivals throughout the year. Now let's talk about traveling inside Lithuania. What is the best way to get around? Well, that depends on your destination. Of course, a car will take you anywhere, and that might be a good choice for travel if you plan to go around a lot, especially to some remote locations. Although keep in mind that in the city centers you need to pay for the parking. But if you are planning just to travel between the cities, then the public transportation is very good and reliable choice. Buses are the most popular choice and they can take you anywhere. The bus network reaches every city and town in the country. Trains can be a more comfortable choice if you are traveling between the largest cities, but otherwise the network is not as widespread as buses. The routes and tickets can be easily found online to both trains and buses, so I'll put the links to the ticket websites in the description below. Next, let's talk about the public transportation inside the cities. Cities in Lithuania aren't large and you can get away without any transport if you will be staying in the city center. If, however, you need to go somewhere further, then there are options, of course. The main mean of transport are buses. There also are trolleybuses in Vilnius and Kaunas, but there is no metro or tram. In Vilnius there is only electronic ticket. There are no paper tickets sold inside the bus because of the COVID-19 situation, but maybe they will be coming back? Right now you can only buy a ticket through a phone app or using the transport card. The ticket card can be purchased or topped up at kiosks and some other shops. The ticket must be validated every time you enter a bus or a trolleybus. There also are day passes available. However, there have been recent news that a new ticket system is being created, so it might be quite different in the future. In Kaunas, the public transportation is pretty much the same at the moment. Tickets can be bought through a phone app or transport card. Note that unlike Vilnius, in Kaunas you can enter the bus only through the front door. In Klaipėda, the public transportation consists of buses, microbuses and ferries. Tickets for each have to be purchased separately because the prices are different. Buses have free travel zones, the furthest one also reaching Palanga and Kretinga. Paper tickets for buses and microbuses can be purchased at the kiosks and from the driver. Day passes are also available. Ferries in Klaipėda connect across Kuršiai Lagoon to the Curonian Spit, where you can visit the Sea Museum or go to Nida. One ferry is pedestrian only and is situated in the Old Town. The other one is at a more industrial area and also fits cars. Tickets can be bought on site. You can find out all the details about the public transportation in Lithuania in their websites, so I'll leave the links in the description below. Other popular modes of city transport are city bikes, scooters, and car hire services. The most popular car hire service these days is Bolt, a popular app that is used all around Europe. We also have electric scooters in many cities. In Vilnius and Kaunas you can also find city self-service bikes, which can be a nice way to explore the town. There are plenty of bicycle paths, although the network cannot be compared with the countries like Denmark or the Netherlands. Let's talk about accommodation a little bit. It is true that in Lithuania the accommodation is cheaper than in many countries in Europe, but you can find a place for any budget. As of spring 2022, in Vilnius, a bed in a hostel might cost around €12 per night. A double room in 3-star hotels start from €50, 4 stars around 100, and 5 stars from 140 per night. The prices are lower in Kaunas and Klaipėda, but in resorts like Palanga and Nida, accommodation can be way more expensive in the summer months. Apartments are also popular to stay at, and the price varies just as much. Now that we talked about the basics, there are a few other things to keep in mind when visiting Lithuania. How do you communicate with locals? Well, Lithuanians do speak their own language, Lithuanian, but most of the people know at least one foreign language. The younger people might know more English, and the older generations will know a bit more Russian language. In bigger cities, the most important information is often provided in English alongside Lithuanian, so language shouldn't be a problem. Even many of the newer cognitive trails in the nature have English information stands. But it will always be appreciated to know a few Lithuanian words as well. Another question often asked, is it safe here? Well, Lithuania is generally a safe country, but there are thieves and pickpockets like anywhere else. So watch over a little bit of your belongings in more crowded places and everything will be fine. Another thing to keep in mind is to check the weather forecast before you head out. If it is sunny and warm now, it doesn't mean it's gonna stay that way, so sometimes an umbrella or a warmer jacket is needed. And when you're out and about, finding internet will not be a big problem. In the biggest cities, free Wi-Fi is available at many locations. Also, if you would like to get a Lithuanian phone number, you can easily buy a prepaid SIM card from a kiosk or a supermarket. When sightseeing in Lithuania, there are plenty of ways to save some money. Not many foreigners know that the last Sunday of each month, all the museums in Lithuania have free admissions. In bigger cities, like in most Europe, there also are free walking tours. This can be a great way to get to know the town if you're on a budget. The guides do accept tips, but it's not mandatory. In Vilnius, it is also worth to consider of getting a Vilnius Pass. It gives free museum admissions, audio guides, and it works as a public transportation card as well. There also are some discounts for shops, restaurants, and other activities. While still talking about money, I can mention that in Lithuania you can easily go cashless. The cards are accepted almost anywhere. The obvious exception would be local food markets and fairs during the holidays. Although restaurant tips are not often accepted by cards, it is common to tip in restaurants and bars in Lithuania around 10% of the bill. There are also some regulations to keep in mind in Lithuania about drinking alcohol and smoking. Drinking alcohol is not allowed in public places, except of bars and restaurants. You can't just go buy a beer and drink it in the park. You will get fined for that. Also, you can only buy alcohol until 8 p.m. and on Sundays until 3 p.m. Smoking is also prohibited in many locations. Well, the indoors, of course, the bus stops and entrances to public buildings, and even the balconies. Lastly, I want to touch the topic of hygiene and health. In Lithuania, the tap water is clean and is safe to drink it everywhere. There also are water fountains in the cities, so it's good to have your own bottle that you can refill on the go. The hygiene standards of food providing services are high, so you shouldn't have any worries about eating certain foods either. If you go to the nature anytime between March and November, then beware of the ticks, small insects that suck into the skin. Some of them carry quite a dangerous Lyme disease, so you should wear protective clothing and repellents to avoid them. Another nuisance in the summer are the mosquitoes, but they are not dangerous. Just be prepared to get repellents if you are planning a trip to the lakes or the rivers. So that's it for today. I hope that my tips will be helpful for your travels in Lithuania. If you've got some more questions, then feel free to ask them in the comment section. Maybe I forgot to mention something. Thanks for watching.